Let's talk about something most people don't want to hear. The truth. The truth is, many people around us will tell us that they like the truth. They love the truth. They want to hear the truth. But they hate to hear it when it's something they don't agree with. And today, I want to talk about one thing that seems to plague us as Ghanaians and lots of people around the world. You can't pray bad habits away. Let me say that again. You cannot pray bad habits away. Have you ever noticed how people are quick to blame Satan, like Satan forced them to do something? You were caught stealing and you blame Satan for it. You were caught molesting a child and you blame Satan for it. You were caught in an act that society frowns upon and you also blame Satan for it. You were overspeeding, and the result of that is that you have to get your legs amputated, and then you blame your house witches for it. Do you see where I'm going with this? You can't pray away bad habits. You have to do something about them. You have to do something about them. You can pray for forgiveness. You can pray for strength to overcome in moments of weakness. And you can even pray for the desire to change. But if you don't discipline yourself, if you don't, discipline, that's the key word. If you don't discipline your behavior, nothing changes. Your life will remain the same. You'll keep watching porn. You'll keep masturbating. You'll keep chasing girls or boys. You'll keep stealing and you'll keep overspeeding. And the thing is that habits don't respond to prayer necessarily. They respond to practice. Now, this is not to frown on religion and its practices. I know many people in this country frown on Christianity secretly and call it a religion that does not allow people to think. Yes, there may be bad aspects. Not bad aspects, but bad people who are using the name of Jesus to con people into making themselves rich. You won't understand this until you have been a victim in a place of worship where you thought you were in a place of safety but only suffered chaos. People have serious stories going to churches where they were molested instead of protected, where they were abused, where they were extorted and manipulated, and a whole lot of things. But when you see someone walking with Christ and they used to gamble, they used to steal and fornicate and watch porn and do all kinds of bad things, you should know that even though there has been a spiritual change, it did not just end there. They were disciplined enough to practice. Let's be honest for a minute, or a moment, whatever you want to do now. Let's be honest. We just have to be honest. Some of us have prayed for years about the same things: porn, gambling, stealing, fornication, masturbation. We cry, we confess, we make promises, but then we fall again. Why? Because we've been treating habits like spirits. You can cast out demons. All right, you can cast out demons. And that's where most people get stuck. We confuse deliverance with discipline. We think that if we pray, the bad habits will just stop. But it doesn't just, it doesn't work that way. Bad habits don't just stop like that. They don't stop like that. There's a reason it's called a habit. It took many months and years to develop. A habit is a regular practice, all right? That is hard to give up. I guess we can also call that an addiction. See people who are addicted to porn, to coke and gambling. They did not start it last night. They started many years ago. One sip, one try, one injection, one look, and that was it. They were hooked. And you think that if they prayed 2 hours daily, it will flee. It will just vanish, like it never happened, like it was never there. Now, I'm not saying that the God I serve and the God many of you people serve, Christians, the God we serve, is not in the miracle business. He is. In fact, some others get transformed overnight. But that's not the normal story. For countless people, for millions of people, in fact, they work hard to overcome these habits. What I do not want you to do is to confuse deliverance with discipline. When I say deliverance, I mean in the sense of exorcism. You can reach your deliverance through discipline by God's grace. You need to work hard like a horse against everything you do not like in order to find your quote-unquote salvation from the thing that is pinning you down. Many of us were raised to believe that every problem in life is spiritual. Hey, every problem. Oh. And I've met one or two people like that. Everything is a spirit. Everything is the fault of a spirit. One is either this spirit or another spirit. How do you call it? A river spirit, a sky spirit, a family spirit. Oh, Charlie. It's not easy. Oh. Everything is a spirit. If you struggle with something, pray about it. If you fail, you go to church. If you fail, then maybe it's a curse. If your business doesn't work out, it's a family witch. If you have a child out of wedlock, it's a curse that has been placed on your family. Hey, Charlie. You see, sometimes it's not a curse. In fact, most of the time, it's not a curse. It's just a cycle, a repetition of the same patterns. I think this is what we call generational curse, and we try to pray it away. If your grandfather had children out of wedlock and your mother did the same, and you are seeing your uncles and aunties doing the same, don't you think it's very, 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 very possible for you to also follow in that direction? Same thing. If you come from a family with only military people or lawyers, you will be influenced automatically, maybe not directly, to also want to be in the military or the law profession. Are you getting it now? Should we call that a generational blessing? Sometimes, over-spiritualizing everything is what causes our downfall. We think everything is spiritual and never look at the physical aspects of these things that we pray against. Sometimes it's only common sense you need to apply. And prayer alone won't fix cycles. Look, I'm sorry to break it to you. I might sound like I'm against prayer, but I am not against prayer. I did pray. I'm not against prayer. Prayer alone won't fix cycles. It's just the truth. It's just the truth. Just like I started by saying, some of you hate the truth when it's against you, when it's not going for you. Cycles break when your habits change. You can't pray all night and then go back to the same environment that feeds your addiction. Sorry to ask, but are you mad? Are you mad? You can't cry at the altar and still keep the same playlist, the same websites, the same company, and expect your life to look different. What kind of sorcery is that? You can't pour clean water into a dirty cup and expect purity. Something has to change, and that something is you. In this context, it's you. You have to change. You have to do the hard work. And when I say nobody is coming to save you, this is what I mean. You have to do the hard work. Nobody will do it for you. Now let's talk about practicality. Porn, gambling, stealing. These aren't just sins. They are systems. They rewire your brain. They release dopamine. They reward you for wrong things. And your brain starts craving that reward again and again and again. So when even your soul wants to stop, your body keeps chasing the high. Are we getting the point? That's why you can feel guilty after, but you still go back later. It's not because you don't love God. It's because you haven't retrained your brain. You haven't rewired your brain. So yes, pray, but also retrain your brain. Pray, but also practice. Pray, but also plan. Because still, faith without works is dead. Faith without works is still dead. Let's talk about these three habits. I'm going to look at porn, gambling, and stealing. Thing number one, pornography. It's not just a male problem. It's a human problem. Females also watch porn. Some read porn magazines online, porn cartoons. I sat in a trotro one time. A trotro is a public transport. That is, if you don't know what a trotro is, it's a public transport. I sat in a trotro one time and I saw this beautiful lady at the front reading pornographic magazine on her phone. It's digital. She was so tensed. She wasn't blinking. She was focused on what she was reading. It was really something. And what porn does is that it numbs the soul. It trains you to see people as objects, not as souls. It kills intimacy and it steals time, focus, and your peace. And the biggest lie it tells you is that you can, quote unquote, control it. No, you can't control porn. You contain it with boundaries. You stop feeding it. You stop following pages that trigger you. You delete apps that feed you lies. You fill your mind with truth, not fantasy, because whatever you feed on will grow and whatever you starve will die. So I'm imploring you today, starve porn. Starve it. Thing number 2, gambling. Gambling is not fun. It is manipulation disguised as excitement. Many people gamble not because they want to. They have this sort of void, this emptiness inside of them that doesn't allow them to live the life they really or actually want. You think you are chasing money, but really money is chasing you away from discipline. The moment you think, maybe this time I'll win, you've already lost. Seriously, you've already lost. Gambling thrives on hope without patience. And when you mix greed with hope, you destroy wisdom. You just become not wise. Do you want financial freedom? Then stop gambling with the same money you could have invested. You can invest in stocks in the Ghana stock market and the American stock market. You can use IC Wealth and the Bamboo apps to invest. Start small, save small. You are young. Most of the people listening to this podcast are young, between the ages of 18 to 35, I think. 35. Yes, 35, you're still young. You can use IC Wealth and the Bamboo apps to invest. Start small, save small, invest small. It's not big money, just small, something small. But stop giving your future away to chance, because luck will fade, but discipline will build you. It will change you. And if you continue on this path of gambling, one day you'll be calling your friends. Look, it's one of the most embarrassing things to ever do. You'll be calling your friends to send you 50 cedis to buy food. Charlie, you go there hot, so you really go hot. And thing number 3, stealing. Some people steal out of desperation. Others also steal out of habit. I had a friend who could steal. Actually, he could steal you just like that. He just don't want to steal you. Either way, stealing destroys your character. And once your character is gone, everything is gone. Your peace is gone with it. Nobody wants to employ a known thief. Imagine you are arrested and it destroys your record forever. No company wants to employ you. Prison in Ghana is not a great place to be. You are packed in rooms like sardines. And before you do anything that can land you in prison, please think and think. Like, really think about the freedom you have now. Right now, you can go anywhere. You can sleep anytime you like. You can move freely. You won't get that in a prison. I've had a couple of friends go to prison. Sadly, one was murdered for stealing a motorbike. Yes, sadly. He was just murdered like that. He went to prison. He got out of prison. His life was not working out well. I don't know. He was into drugs. He was into other things. And then all of a sudden, we just heard that I think on Facebook he was wanted. It was a whole thing. All right, it was a big thing. And then last I heard, I think a couple of years ago, I heard that he had just passed out. No, not passed out. I mean, he had passed away. He was murdered. All right. There was also this guy living in my neighborhood who was also stealing. He was a thief. I had no idea he was a thief. I used to talk to him almost all the time. This is one of those moments where you wish you knew them. All right, in order to talk to them more or something. But then we only had the hi. Hey, hi, what's up? Yeah, Charlie, what they going? Charlie, that was it. We weren't really people who talked that much, but I was seeing him almost all the time. And then I did not see him in the neighborhood for some months. So I asked my uncle, where is this guy who uses the headset all the time? I don't see him again. Then my uncle said that the guy has been killed because he went together with a friend somewhere to steal. And after stealing, he wanted to, it's actually embarrassing to say, but he wanted to rape Yes, that's the word. He wanted to rape the female they were stealing from. Well, whatever happened there. And then I think the girl's father was around, and then he noticed, and then he beat him to death. So yeah, they killed him, and his family did not take his body. They rejected him. I think they threw him somewhere. They just threw him away or something. But I'm sure the body was later recovered. But these are some of the sad things we don't hear almost all the time. We don't hear them at all. He dies like that, sadly. Very sad. Yeah. Anyway, let's continue. So, a friend of mine was also fired because he was stealing from the company he worked for. He was stealing from them just like that. And then there was this one guy that I wanted to help. I wanted to help out. But then this guy ran from home. After a couple of friends and I helped him get a place as an apprentice to learn a trade. I had to call this friend of mine in the States. Yeah, he's called George. I had to call him. He's in the States, and I told him that this is the situation. We want to help this guy, and this guy just came out of prison. He was in prison because he stole television or something. Like, it's not easy, There are real problems, so there are real problems. So we wanted to help him out. I contacted another friend and I told him that what's it called? I needed somebody who could teach this guy a trade, and then he called some guy, a guy he knew in the neighborhood. So he called the guy. We go there. I call my friend in the States. He sent some money to pay for the fees and everything. I go there. I talked to the man. We bought a couple of things. They usually demand some money and some things. So we did that. We did all of that. We bought the things, and the morning the guy was supposed to be there, he did not show up. I went to the house. He wasn't there, and that was the last I heard of him. That was the last time I heard of him. Also another sad story. He was in prison. I mean, his case was almost always in the court. All right. And I think the first time I met him was in the courtroom with handcuffs. It was actually heartbreaking to see. Yeah, heartbreaking to see. Every act of stealing, whether it's small money, whether it's cheating a friend or manipulating someone's trust, breaks something inside of you. Stealing it's not just about taking things. It's about your identity. Because when you steal, you tell yourself that you are not enough to earn what you desire. And that's a lie you can't pray away. You can't pray that one away. You fix it by taking responsibility, by learning patience, by learning to earn instead of take. That's how dignity is built. Look, there are many times that I've wanted to gamble, Have I gambled in the past? I think once or twice, once or twice I did that. But was it something serious I did in the past? No. Do I have friends who gamble? Yes. Do I have friends who are into internet fraud? Yes. There are times that I want to do some really bad things because I'm broke. There's this girl who tells me that I shouldn't call myself broke, but I don't know if she will ever listen to this, but yeah, there have been times where I've wanted to do some things, all right, but then I just can't, because I have the mindset that if I cross this line, I can't come back anymore. So I just have my boundaries, no matter how bad it is. At least when it comes to that, I can say I've not trespassed. And here's the thing. God can forgive anything, but he won't fix everything for you, because his goal isn't just to change your life. It is to change you, the person. He'll give you grace to overcome, but he expects you to use it. The chance you have, use it. If you keep praying without changing your patterns, you are not repenting. You are just repeating the same process. You are in a loop. You're repeating the thing over and over and over again. And grace is not permission to sin. Grace is not permission to stay stuck. Grace is the chance to rise up and not stay where you have been. Change feels slow. Look, it feels slow. I want some things, but I'm not getting them. I want to overcome some things, but I've not yet fully overcome all of those things. Change feels slow, but small wins compound. You don't have to be perfect tomorrow. Forget about perfection. You cannot be perfect tomorrow. Maybe you will never be perfect. You just have to be better than yesterday. You just have to be better than yesterday. You might feel trapped right now. Maybe you've tried to stop before. Maybe you've promised yourself 1,000 times. Listen, you are not hopeless. You are human, and humans can change. But you have to stop asking God to do that part for you. You have to stop asking God to do your part for you. God can forgive your sin, yes, but He won't form your habits. That's your work, and He'll give you the power to do that. But you must take the steps. It's not about perfection. Forget perfection again. Forget perfection. It's about progress. And the moment you decide to take responsibility, that is when true change begins. The real deliverance is not falling down at the altar and then crying and weeping and shouting. It's standing up tomorrow and doing the right thing again and again. It's waking up the next day and saying no to the old patterns. Just say no. Deliverance is not just a one-moment thing. In this context, it's a process, and God is patient with your process. So stop running from the work. Do it. Learn discipline. Build systems. Stay accountable. Because the version of you on the other side, the other side of these habits, the habits that you hate so much, that version of you will thank you one day. If this episode hits you, don't just feel convicted. Please change something. Change something. Because you can't pray away bad habits. But you can work them through the truth, through structure, and through grace. See you in the next one. And then, yes. Please, to help promote this podcast, please do well to share this episode with other people. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, follow on Spotify, leave a review. Very important. It helps people to have access to this podcast as well. You don't want to keep good news to yourself, right? Please help out.